Hey, what is up guys, it's Game Fanatic Cook, and as you can tell from the title of this video, we're going to be talking about how I think magic works in the hit horror game Fear and Hunger. Now, I want to go ahead and preface this with, I don't have like any substantial proof that I'm right about any of this. This is all just a theory, this is all just assumptions.
I spread misinformation, nigga. On my missing context independent fact checkers say information in this post could mislead people's shit. I propagate unverifiable facts, my nigga.
This is all just assumptions, so if you guys have anything that immediately shoots it down in the comments, please let me know, and I just want to see what everyone has to say about what I'm about to say here today. So the first kind of magic that I really want to talk about is magic that you gain and spells that you gain from having a high affinity and giving up soul stones with the old gods. And my main point here is that I don't think magic in Fear and Hunger is learned. I don't think you have to have it. I don't think it's learned. I don't think you have to have any skill to learn magic from Fear and Hunger. I think what happens is you gain an affinity with a certain god, right? With one of the old gods, and then when you have that affinity with that old god, the old god likes you to a certain amount. You're a certain level of dedication shown to that old god. Then you can sacrifice soul stones to that old god, or essentially just sacrifice souls to that old god, and they will repay you by instantly teaching you a certain magic ability. And this makes a lot of sense to me, because you take someone like Darcy, you take someone like Kahara, you take someone like Rag even, and they come into the game and they can gain an affinity with Sylvian by doing the bunny orgy, let's just say that. And then after you do that, you gain an affinity with Sylvian. That means Sylvian likes you a certain amount. Then you go to the skill tree, right? And you have a soul stone. You give up that soul stone, you instantly learn pheromones. There was no training montage. There was no like pre-understanding of magic, because Rag, Darcy, and Kahara don't really use magic. So you still instantly learn that pheromone ability from Sylvian. So that to me implies that it's not really like you have to be skilled magically or have a ton of knowledge. You just have to show a certain dedication to one of the old gods and sacrifice something to them, and they will grant you these abilities, and you can instantly use them to their full power. That's what makes sense to me. Now maybe there's some skill that comes into it when it comes to like casting repeatedly, or like, you know, maybe like your magic attack damage. Like obviously Inky's better at using magic spells. I believe he has a higher magic attack stat. I'm not sure actually, but I'm pretty sure he does. So like that, maybe there's some skill that comes into it, but actually learning and performing the spell, there's no skill that comes into it. It's a gift bestowed on you by the old gods when you're in their favor. And that's what just makes sense to me. And I think that makes a lot of sense overall, right? Because you take these people like you take these people like Kahara, Darcy, and Rag, who don't use magic regularly, and as soon as they gain this affinity with these old gods and give them these soul stones, they instantly are learning these abilities to their max capacity. They're using them at full force, full effectiveness. So then you ask the question, like, what about someone like Nazra? Right? If you just instantly learn magic and it's all equal, then why is someone like Nazra so much more powerful if he just instantly learned magic like that? And my counter argument to that is Nazra is immortal. He obviously found a way to make himself immortal, so that implies that he's not actually better at magic, but he has more knowledge of magic, meaning he has a more wider range of magical skills, right? So maybe he found out how to ask the old gods for immortality, or maybe he found a hidden scroll that taught you how to become immortal, or gave you the ability to become immortal, to better say that. And that would make a lot of sense. So technically he's not performing combustion, because he doesn't perform combustion at a higher skill level than Inky or Rag does really. He just has a bunch of other spells and abilities that make him more powerful that he has the knowledge on. He's not necessarily more magically, he doesn't necessarily have a higher affinity for magic abilities. Now, a second type of thing I want to talk about here, so I think that covers learning magic from the old gods well. And obviously, guys, I know there's game mechanics, right? It could just be a game mechanics. They don't want to show a montage where you have to grind out for 5 hours to perfect Blood Golem, right? That might just be a game mechanic. They learn spells so quickly. But I'm looking at everything at face value here, and because there's not a great explanation about how magic works in this game, I'm just looking at everything at face value and giving you guys what I think it is. Now I want to move on to scrolls, okay? And scrolls are very interesting to me. When I first got scrolls, I immediately thought, as it, scrolls imply, that you read the scroll, you practiced the ability, and then you learned it, and the game mechanics just made you instantly learn it because, grinding for it would suck. But after teaching Moonless combustion through a scroll, that made me think. Moonless is not smart enough to read. I don't care what anyone says. Moonless is not smart enough to read, and definitely not smart enough to comprehend the idea of practicing a spell or magic over and over again to use it. But Moonless can still instantly learn combustion or any other spell if you give her that scroll. So my theory on scrolls is that they're actually imbued with magic, perhaps from the old gods, or perhaps with some super knowledgeable, powerful wizard that knows all these spells. But these scrolls are imbued with that magic, right? And then when you open them or use them somehow special way, you instantly, that magic instantly imbues in you and gives you whatever skill that scroll has. And that's how I think scrolls work. So that's why you instantly learn abilities when you use scrolls. And that also makes sense why you can't reuse scrolls between characters. Because if you were just reading a scroll and learning its ability by reading it and then practicing, then every single character that's in your party will be able to learn the same ability from the same scroll. But in Fear and Hunger, when you read a scroll, it disappears afterward. Its energy is gone, its power is gone, and no one can learn from that scroll anymore. So that's the biggest indication to me that scrolls are imbued with magic, and that opening them or activating them in some way causes that magic imbued to them to become a part of you. And that's honestly my biggest clue right there. My biggest part of my theory is that because you can't reuse them, and Moonless is able to use scrolls as well, and that doesn't make sense if you have to read and practice spells that Moonless can use them and that you can't reuse them. So I think the scrolls are imbued with magic power. So overall, what I'm saying is that it probably does take a ton of work by these characters to learn different spells and abilities in this game. However, it's more like finding the knowledge and dedicating yourself to one of the old gods that gets you these spells and abilities than it is actually practicing magic or practicing control over magic, in my personal opinion. Obviously, you guys disagree with me, because it's not like I built a brick house here. Honestly, my theory is pretty much like a stick house. The big bad wolf could probably come and blow it down pretty damn easy, if I'm being honest with you. So if you guys want to blow it down in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong, please go ahead. Just remain respectful, and I'll listen to everyone, of course. I love debating respectfully with everyone in the comments and all that good stuff. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think. Also, another thing I want to throw in here at the end, because maybe I'm misremembering it, because I don't want to put this as like one of the main points and be wrong about it. But Inky's intro. And it's another point that I think helps my argument. Because if you stab his sister in the back, you then unlock the necromancy ability. Now, stabbing someone in the back, that really doesn't make sense why it gives you the ability to use necromancy, does it? No, it doesn't. How does stabbing someone in the back have anything to do with magic, as a matter of fact? It doesn't. But what that does, and the reason it teaches you necromancy, is because it shows your affinity to Grogroth and your loyalty, and then Grogroth gifts the necromancy ability to Inky for sacrificing his sister. So that's how I think that works, okay? And I think that's another point that helps defend my theory. But maybe I'm misremembering, but that seems like that really helps defend my theory. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I think this is something I just keep thinking about over and over again since I made that Moonless video. And I hope you guys think it was interesting to talk about as well. Thank you for watching. And peace out, stay blessed, and stay happy, guys. See ya.